past the cities of Usha and Shefar'am. There was another two mentioned in the Chazal, but I'm going to repeat it. How it's mentioned in the Talmud. The Sanhedrin had 10 exiles. Starting off the Lishkat HaGazit, that was on the Temple Mount. From there they moved to Ḥanut, that was also on the Temple Mount. Then they moved to Yerushalayim, from Yerushalayim to Yavne, from Yavne to Usha, from Usha back to Yavne, from Yavne back to Usha, and from Usha to Shefaram. A lot of the historians don't understand why, what was this back and forth of Yavne. So one thing to make clear is that there was a special need for the Sanhedrin to try to have when they convene their sessions in the Sanhedrin, it should be in the portion of Judea, because it takes precedence over the ones from Galilee. Therefore, whenever they had a chance, they would try to go back to the Yavne. So as we explained before, when this the Mishian, the brother of Titus, took over from his brother Titus, he introduced harsh taxes, and the Sanhedrin wasn't interested in making a lot of pomp and fanfare, so they decided to take a discreet location in the Galilee, a little quaint town called Usha, which we had passed on the way here. So they shouldn't stick out, and they shouldn't be so noticeable. Now this would last from 82. That means after 30, the destruction of the temple was 70. So they convened from 70 till 82 in Yavne, and then at the time of the mission, what was till 96, they moved on to Usha. Now this will come to this will come when the after the mission dies and the Flavian dynasty is finished, there will be a new emperor called Nerva. Now this Nerva, the first thing he does was abolishes the humiliating tax from the Flavians, and the Jews even sent a delegation to Rome to speak to him. Now they figured, the Jews, at such a time would be the perfect time to move back to Yavne. They send messengers quietly, dressed up as merchants, to go check out Yavne if it's safe enough for them to return. And they actually returned for 2 years. That's what it means. Yavne Usha, Usha Yavne. That was in the year 96. Now, Nerva dies after 2.5 years being emperor. After being 2.5 years emperor, he dies. And some other next emperor will be Trajan, and he's not known very favorably in the works of the Talmud and in the Midrash. You call him Tayon Shochik Tamya. Let his bones be ground. Not very favorable to Trajan. Why? Because Trajan was very openly out to punish the Jews and make them pay for what they did in the rebellions before. He was also the one that was culpable for the Mered Hatuzot, or known as the rebellion of the diaspora, and this which led up after a bunch of years in the year 116 to the communities of the diaspora, like in Alexandria and also I think in Cyprus. The Jews rebelled against the Romans. Now it's not so clear by us if it was what's a rebellion. It's not mentioned by us at all. It's more that the Jews try to protect themselves. That's how we learn it. The Jews try to protect themselves, like in the Warsaw Ghetto, and then they brutally put down the trying to protect themselves, and good parts of Alexandria and also of Cyprus was destroyed in the year 116. This was also called in Chazal Pulmus of Kitus. Why? Because Kitus was the general of Trajan, and he was the one that was sent to crush this rebellion. Here in Israel, we're not clear exactly how, and also in the diaspora. Now in the year 116, ironically, it was Hadrian, who was also a general of this Trajan, but working out of Antioch, He's the one that killed this Kitus, and Chazal instituted a special day, Yud Gimel Adar, as a day of a chag, of a holiday, to commemorate this this was over, this Kitus was over, and that was in the year 116. But then starts the rule of Hadrian. Now Hadrian starts his rule quite benevolent to the Jews, and then they decide, okay, we're going to start again now, to convene again, because all these 20 years, from 96 to like 116, the Sanhedrin didn't convene at all. We have Reb Shimon ben Gamliel hiding out in Lod. That's where we find always in Chazal that this was discussed in the attic of this one. This was discussed on the fields of Rebbe Tarfon in Lod, because they didn't properly convene any Sanhedrin. Now, in the year 116, with the help of, since this Kitus rebellion was put down, and Hadrian took over, so the Jews reconvened again in Usha. This will be the second time. The head of this the Sanhedrin at that time was Rabbi Shmuel ben Elisha Kohen Gadol, also quite complicated because there might be two Rabbi Shmuels. He was the one that he was a Talmud Chuvah of Rabbeinu HaKodesh, of who wrote the Mishnah. He was much older than Rabbi Yehuda Anasi, who was the son of Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel. But he was the one that convened this special Sanhedrin again in Usha. Now, since the Sanhedrin hadn't convened in 20 years, they made what's called Takonos Usha, or the ordinances of Usha, and new Takanot that, since they hadn't met so many times. It's very famous. Anybody that knows a little bit of the Talmud would know what the Takonos Usha was meant. That's the time that it happened. It was in the year 116 that they convened. It didn't last very long because Hadrian had made an about face, and when he made this about face, and he decided to become nasty to the Jewish people, because at first he had given them permission to go build a temple, and then he reneged on that promise. This famous story of Rabbi Yeshua, how he calmed the people. So when Hadrian becomes nasty to the Jewish people, and then that'll lead up to the Bar Kokhba revolt. But in the meantime, till that happens, they convened in Usha, and there was Takonos Usha. One of the famous Takonos was that